Famed video game designer, responsible for the Metal Gear Solid franchise, Hideo Kojima, has reportedly found the Necronomicon. He has given the world 10 days to capitulate to his demands before he raises an army of the undead. In other fake news, this is Nuclear Grenade Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm your host, Justin Land. With me, as always, is Alexander. Hey ho. How's it going, hey ho?
It's going well. How's your day going?
It's doing pretty good. You want to just jump right into it and tell us what games you've been playing?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I missed you quite a bit. These past 6 days have just been awful.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been horrible.
Yeah, last Saturday after the show ended, I'm just like, man, I miss Justin so much.
I've just been cutting myself.
Yeah, I play a game where I put a gun in my mouth and then like I kind of tap the trigger with my finger. But it's a double action pistol, so like you actually have to pull it a little bit harder.
Nice.
But yeah. So anyway, I've been playing a game. It's called Frostpunk. It's free. It's the game that's free on Epic Games this week. It's like a city builder, and you've been playing it too, so you could probably chime in on this as well. You've been actually looking forward to getting it, and this is the first time I've heard of it, but it's like a simulation strategy game where it's the last city on Earth, and you start with like a core, which is like the center of the city, and you have to kind of build around that. And I played probably about 5 hours of it, so I kind of got a little taste of what it's about, and it's really a fine balance of kind of managing your citizens and your structures to keep everything going well. Because like if you mess around too much, your civilization, your city that you're building will die. Your people will die, and everything will go to shit. So you need
It's pretty easy to die.
Yeah, you need the right amount of hunters, you need the right amount of people collecting coal, people collecting wood. So it's a really fine balance. It's one of those games where like you can play it for, like the first time you play it for 10 minutes, and it's like, well, I've learned enough where I should probably restart. And then the next time you play for like an hour. It's like, okay, I learned a bunch more stuff, so let me restart. And you kind of keep progressing and getting better with every file. I guess you could continue with the first file you play, but the first file you play, I mean, there's so much to learn and so much fine-tuning that has to go on that it's very unlikely that your first file will turn out well, I would assume.
Yeah, I think I restarted a couple times myself. It's definitely a balance. I'd say it's more of like a resource balance game than like it's like, yeah, full management of resources more than anything. And then it's cool because you do have little quests or things that happen, so there's kind of like a storyline going on. Like I think like did you get to the point where the Londoners are like pissed off at you?
No, but let me just say really quick, the objectives that you get really help to kind of keep you on track as well, to kind of tell you like, you know, which direction you should be going and what you should be doing to have good outcomes. So
yeah, the first ones are basically like tutorial kind of quests that do help kind of guide you. Yeah, it's like, hey, get these things up and going. But it's not so hand-holdy that it's like, you know, where some games will like remove control from you and they'll be like, click here and then click here and you can't do anything else. But that it doesn't do that. But yeah, it's definitely cool. I really like enjoy kind of the bleakness, the dreariness of it, kind of the hard choices in the tech tree that you have to make. That's because in it there's certain nodes in the tech tree where you can only choose one half or the other, and it will lock you out of the other side.
Yeah, it reminds me of Russia for some reason when I'm playing it. It's like, this must be what Russia is like.
Yeah, this is Siberia for sure.
Yeah. So again, we're talking about Frostpunk. It's a game made by 11-Bit Studios, published by 11-Bit Studios. Very positive reviews on Steam. out of 55,000 reviews. It originally came out April 24th, 2018. It's won a bunch of awards. It's a fun game, you know. Out of all the games that I've played, all the free Epic games, this is probably one of the best ones. So if you've got Epic and you're not principally against it for whatever reason, and you like simulation games, simulation strategy, this is probably a good one for you to pick up. I would say I'd give it like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's definitely in that category. I know they came out with like a new expansion where you're actually like in the springtime, so I imagine you're managing, you know, other problems, but it's definitely interesting. I guess it's like a prequel.
Yeah, that'd be kind of nice to change it up from it being so bleak and white and snowy and Russia-like, and have it be a little bit more like I don't know, like Washington or something in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun. I'm probably gonna try to play through a couple of the scenarios. Yeah, I really like too how building the heat around the core, you slowly upgrade the core to expand out its warmth, and building like little heaters along the roads. Really gives like an interesting thing to manage that you don't see in too many games. Even games with like temperature, like Subnautica or Don't Starve.
Yeah, I like
it's a different way of handling.
There's a lot of little things that you can micromanage, and that makes it a lot of fun. And it also kind of separates the less skilled players from the more skilled players. And so like, you know, the next time you start a file, every time you start a new file, it's like you're a much better player at the game. So it's got a lot of replay value as well. So yeah, they've done a really good job with that game. Very clever and a lot of fun. It's just kind of weird because like one of the things that I'm not sure how I feel about it is that you're kind of stuck in that little crater area, which is kind of weird, you know. But you know, you send the beacon out and you can go send scouts to collect other survivors, but that's not really, you know, it's not really opening up the world at all or anything like that. So
yeah, I know. It's cool though, like the little storylines you get, the little journal pieces you get from doing those helps build the picture of what's going on too.
Yeah, you know, there's a bunch of warnings. Like when you go play the game, it's like, oh, mature content. I didn't really run across anything too vulgar or anything other than child labor, which is pretty bad. But you know, it's not like gory or whatever, you know. But maybe I just didn't play enough to get to the super mature crazy shit. I don't know.
Yeah. They should be able to like have like whipping. You can whip the children, whip children to go faster.
Yeah. Work harder if you want to eat tonight.
Work harder.
Oh God. Awful.
Yeah. Plus you whip them till they're down, and then you got some fresh meat for the stew.
Oh man. Cannibalism. That's my favorite. Apparently, it just tastes like normal meat, like a steak.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I looked it up once. But you don't want to eat. You don't want to eat the brain because there's what's it called? It's like prions. Yes. I forgot what it does to you, but it's not good.
It's mad cow.
Okay. Yeah. So if you have to eat another human, just don't eat the brain.
You don't want to eat quite a few of the organs either, actually.
I would go for the meat, you know, like the
muscle fiber.
Yeah, like the muscle.
Anyway. Yeah. You've been playing anything else?
No, I've been studying programming a lot this week. I've gotten into React, which is kind of a component style HTML. You know, so it's like creating a template. But we won't get too much into the programming shit. Yeah, I know. Yeah, programming's kind of boring unless you're the one doing it. So we'll skip over that.
I can never get into it because it was boring when I tried to do it.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because it doesn't seem like anyone's that good at teaching it.
Yeah.
And the way my brain works, like even when I was in like high school, middle school, and even college, like the only school that I did well in was the schools in the military. Like for some reason, the way that they taught stuff in the military, I was like, oh, okay, well, all this makes sense.
Well, they like force you to be there and yell at you if you don't pay attention.
I remember you and I were studying for an advancement out in the barracks, and we were making jokes because we were learning about ionospheric scattering, and we were talking about how much smarter we were than everybody else. It's like, who else's job?
Ionospheric scattering.
Yeah. It's like, what's one of the things that can interrupt a HF signal from bouncing? Ever.
Off the ionosphere. So yeah, I've just been playing Frostpunk. Been playing a little bit of that NBA 2K21.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I like sports games. I don't like the upgrade system still, but it is fun to play basketball game, and I don't know, those games are kind of like sports RPGs. I usually just play like the single player my career. But the gameplay is good. Made a little point guard. I'm out there dishing up the dimes, landing them, dropping them threes.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it is brutal, like the VC thing. Like you earn a decent amount of VC playing the game or whatever, but the cost of it and then like how much it takes to like level up your character's attributes is just, it's wild how predatory that is.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about last time we were talking about that game. And like I kind of refuse to play predatory games. Brooke is still playing Genshin Impact. It's like, man, you'd have to pay me to play that game. I'm principally against it because it's just dark programming, and the goal is to take advantage of people and make as much money as possible. I'm much more.
Sure. I like some gacha games though. I'll admit it, but I also I have fallen prey where I spent too much money. I'm like, I'm an idiot. I wish I was dead. What kind of grown human being would do this kind of thing on digital shit? But like I'm not. I don't fall prey to it.
Well, I would feel like if I spent money, I would feel like I'd probably just quit after that because it kind of takes the challenge out of actually earning stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what it does is it boosts you into a higher bracket of player typically that you're competing against, to where they'll buy more than you, and then it's like this like arms race. So you'll never actually be, because like in some gacha games there are literally like sultans or something that will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a gacha game. Like, wrap your mind around that.
Well, maybe that should be my first project as a programmer.
Yeah, so you'll never get up there. Like, you'll never be there's no point in trying to raise yourself. Just if you enjoy the game, enjoy it at your level and grinding and building that way. The Galaxy of Heroes was like that.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I do like it, but again, I probably only spent like $50 over 2-3 years that I played it, and even then I was like, ugh. I just felt embarrassed.
Well, the first time the first time you talked about that, I had a hard time finding footage on YouTube to use in the podcast, in the video version.
Oh no, I'm talking about a gacha game.
Galaxy of Heroes?
Yeah, Galaxy of Heroes is different than Star Wars Galaxies.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, Galaxy of Heroes is a gacha game. Galaxy is what you play the right footage. It was an old MMO from like 2003, 2002. But yeah, so I've fallen prey. The only kind of like those type of monetization styles I don't mind are like it's a free game. Maybe it has ads or whatever, but it's like $10 or $5 to $10, and it's like you get no ads, you get all these extra things, and and then that's the way it is. I'm kind of fine with that.
What I don't like is the best example I can think of is Genshin Impact. where you play about 20 hours, 30 hours, and then you hit a wall. Well, where there's actually more content there, but the game is like, oh, you know, we're not gonna let you progress unless you give us 20 more bucks. It's like, really, you know, it's like I made it to this point in the game without, you know, doing it, you know, spending money or anything. So it's just like a wall, a paywall, and to me that's gross.
Yeah.
It's like
we're a grind wall a lot of times. A lot of times you can get that stuff,
but the grind a lot in Genshin Impact, the grind is just so slow. Like it's not practical, you know.
Yeah. Again, I played for a couple hours and I was like, this is boring.
Yeah, it's definitely not my type of game either.
Yeah. Plus, I looked it up and like I got like the first free characters or something, first free pack or something, and I looked it up and it was like the worst characters you could get. I was like, this game sucks.
Yeah. Well, apparently a lot of people keep replaying the beginning part until they go to roll, and it's like,
well, I saw that and I was like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, and you have to like, I think it's 5 hours into the game where you finally get to do that. So you gotta keep playing the first 5 hours of the game over and over and over again until you get a good roll on your initial character pack. Blah, garbage.
Yeah, it sucks. It absolutely blows. For that, I've been playing Legends of Eidolon some more.
Legends of Eidolon.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the news.
News time. I should create like a overlay type of thing. The
little circle thing coming in. It is news time.
The news.
Nuclear grenade news alert. Extra, read all about it. Couple guys reading other people's news. So apparently Knockout City had up to 5 million players because they were giving it away for the first 10 days or so.
Knockout City? Who made that? Bill Cosby?
Yeah. That the dodgeball game, we talked about it last week, the week before.
Oh yeah, it looks like Splatoon, right? That one?
Yeah. And so now they've made it permanently free up to rank 25. It's also, I believe, included with the Xbox Game Pass. So it's cool. That's doing well. We predicted it wouldn't do that well, so I will be surprised if it keeps going. It does seem like people are enjoying it a fair amount. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see it do that well, even though it was free.
Yeah, that seems like one of those games that would be fun, like back in middle school or even high school, where you'd have friends over, and like you'd have like a pizza and like energy drinks and stuff, and your one friend like managed to get some weed, you know, and then you just like stay up all night, like and play a game like that on a split screen. It seems like one of those games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I should hop on and try it. I don't know why I haven't. This one here. Apparently, a photographer alleges Capcom stole their work for Resident Evil 4 in a new lawsuit.
Wait. What? Say that again.
A photographer alleges Capcom stole their work for Resident Evil 4 and more in a new lawsuit.
Like what kind of photography?
Well, it's accusing Capcom of using images from her book's surfaces in several high-profile Capcom games without licensing them from her. According to the lawsuit, she travels the world photographing various designs. She compiled her photographs into a book and CD-ROM called Surfaces in 1996. And sometimes interested parties will contact her to license her work, but Capcom never did. She claims that licenses to Imager Book, or without license to Imager Book, they used 100 different instances. One prominent example is a picture of shattered glass she took in Italy, which seemed to be used for the Resident Evil 4 logo. Yeah, that looking at the images, it does look identical. Yeah. Second example, there's a photograph of a mansion in Newport, Rhode Island, with a similar design, and the design is basically identical.
Wow.
To what's in the game. Yeah, and so it says the lawyers are asking for up to $12 million in damages for copyright infringement, as well as $2,500 to $25,000 for each used photograph for false copyright management and removal of copyright management. So IGN has contacted Capcom, but was simply told, "We are aware of the lawsuit and have no further comment."
I guess my question would be is like, how much money was she making off of those images before? Because really that would be the actual value of those images. I bet you the actual value is close to nothing, you know?
I'm sure it'll be worth something.
Well, yeah, it'll be worth something. Way more than it's actually worth. You know, just because of the principle of it.
Well, if she had it published in a book back in the 90s, I mean, that was before self-publishing.
Oh, is it an actual book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a book compilation.
Oh. Wow, Capcom is in a little bit of trouble then.
Yeah, I mean, how much money they make from Resi 4, and up to 12 million, they'll probably negotiate down to what, a couple million? Big deal. I think that's fair anyway.
That would be crazy if Capcom went out of business. Like, they do seem like they're too big to fail. But like, I think developers like that are actually on more of a precarious ledge than people would think.
I don't think Capcom's doing super well. What games do they have that are?
They have those fighting games.
Yeah, but how well are fighting games doing right now?
I don't know.
They're not the biggest genre for sure.
No, I haven't. Blaze.
And then I guess Resident Evil was their big hit, and so they've just had a really good 7 and 8 both sold really well. So I guess it's Resi.
Out of all the gamers that I know personally, only one likes fighting games, like the fighting games that Capcom makes, and that's Blaze. He's the only one who likes those games that I know of. So
yeah, it's a weird type, but I can never get into it. I used to like it back in the day.
Me too.
Like
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, yeah. I was a Mortal Kombat guy. I was an edgy boy extreme.
I was a Sub-Zero guy. Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Scorpion, but Sub-Zero #1.
Yeah. I was a Reptile guy. I love
Reptile. You remember in the original Mortal Kombat movie when at the very end of the movie, Reptile comes out and you can actually hear the announcer go, Reptile. I was like, oh, that's fucking sick.
Yeah, that's so sick. That movie was awesome too.
Yeah, it still holds up. My wife and I watched it, and for people who are watching this podcast, if you knew my wife, Brooke, you would not think that she would like a movie like Mortal Kombat. She's very girly girl, but she enjoyed Mortal Kombat. She actually really liked it, the original. And then we saw the new one that just came out, and neither of us liked it as much as we were hoping.
Yeah, I've heard mixed. I'm bad that. Haven't bothered watching it myself.
Yeah, Kano really pulled that movie through.
That's right.
Yeah, he's actually really funny. He's got the most personality. A lot of the other characters in that movie are kind of like cardboard cutouts, just really bland. Just really bland. They did a good job with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but Kano is the highlight of the whole movie, I'd say.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's like, I don't even understand how you can make a movie with bad actors. Like, if it's a real movie. Because there's so many actors like just starving for work that probably have talent. You know,
maybe
and it's like, we want the most bland, stupid people.
Maybe the pressure is so high that they try so hard to not fuck up that they lose their authenticity. And I think people can really, like, sense in authenticity. And I think there's a high demand for authentic entertainment nowadays.
Yeah. It could be a direction thing too. I mean, it's the director that's like accepting those takes.
Yeah.
And I know, like with Star Wars, like when you think about the prequels, you had all these amazing actors and actresses. And like every one of them have gone on to do like movies or have done movies before the Star Wars movies that were just where they were really, really good. And yet, like George Lucas was like directed them to be emotionless and shitty and like, you know. So I guess like that's, I guess it all comes down to the director, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably. But again, like I think.
But I don't know anything.
Yeah, and I think acting is probably harder than you would think it would be, as well.
Nah.
Yeah, especially with like
best supporting actor in To See the Stars back in high school, buddy. I think I know a thing or two.
Wow.
About drama.
Oh God, you were one of those queers.
Hey, we got laid.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
What, you're a queer? It's like, I have a lot of sex with women. Yeah, right. Queer. All right, well, I'm gonna go to the after party with, you know, the 18 women in this play, and I'm one of 5 guys.
Yeah.
Later, bud.
Yeah. That's the thing with like theater and the band geeks. Like I remember back in like high school, I did not like the band geeks. They were all kind of like goody two shoes, you know, and they were the type of people.
They were bang.
Yeah, well, they actually had girls a part of their group. Like my group, it was just guys, and we would go get fucking smashed, you know?
Yeah, and then bang each other.
Yeah, there was no girls around at all.
Yeah, no girls allowed, son.
Yeah, we'd be in Oz's basement just fucking smoking, just bong hit after bong hit, playing video games. It's like, dude, you get those mushrooms, man?
Yeah.
You get that LSD this weekend? You know, and then we would watch like some crazy movies or something, and girls didn't like us at all.
Oh, yeah. Back to the news. Balan Wonderland creator unexpectedly leaves Square Enix. Was that unexpected? Were we not expecting this?
Who leaves Square Enix?
Yuji. Huh?
Who left Square Enix?
Yuji Naka.
I don't know.
The guy who left. So Balan Wonderland was this 3D platformer game done in like the Mario style, released on PC and other consoles, I believe, as well. And it was a Square Enix platformer, which they don't do. And it did not do well. So it says here, IGN has independently verified that Naka left the company at the end of April. Upon joining Square Enix, Naka had opened his own internal studio, Balan Company, to make Balan Wonderland. He had already told IGN way back in the day in an interview that this game was his one chance to make a platformer for the publisher. When the game arrived, it was critically panned and has seemingly struggled commercially. So, yeah, the game bombed. It was a shitty, fucking boring game. It looked horrible. Lifeless and weird, and so he got the old boot. Yeah, so I mean, it just looked really, really bad. Yuji Naka, in the Japanese tradition, has wandered into the woods to commit seppuku or harikari.
Yeah. Oh shit. Harikari.
For honor, I have dishonored my family. Yeah. This horrible game.
It's always about honor with those people.
Yeah, dude. Well, if he didn't, like, he'd be walking in the street and a little kid would be like, "Hey, did you make Balan Wonderland?" "Yes, I did." And then this kid would just throw like a Boba Tea in his face.
Yeah,
you got the boot from old Square Enix.
Yeah, you know, as soon as Squaresoft sold into Square Enix, like, I really liked Squaresoft. I liked Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, some of the other Squaresoft games. But then when they sold to Square Enix, like, I can't really think of a game that I really liked that they did. Like, I'll probably get some hate for saying this, but I could not stand Kingdom Hearts. I thought Kingdom Hearts was garbage. Very generic, like, bland. Like, the first one might have been cool, like, but I didn't really play it back then. But I saw other people playing it. And then my wife was playing the newest one, and I'm like, this looks terrible, you know. But maybe it's just not my style. I could not disagree
more. Yeah, I'm not saying they're the greatest games of all time, but the control was really cool. Like, they kind of created almost that style of action, that smoothness of the action RPG. That was really good. And then also it was like the first time to see kind of like a mix of cartoon and video game characters. Like I thought it drips with style. The storylines were very, I mean, there were square nonsense storylines, and the voice acting was always, that was hollow and generic, I felt like. But
I didn't like
everything else, ooze style.
I didn't like the level design. I didn't like
That's fair.
the graphics. I thought, it's just did you? I just found it very and it just made me feel kind of gross just looking at it.
What?
I don't know why. Like, I can't be in the same room while Brooke is playing it.
And so we got 80 Days Studio surprise release, a murder mystery where you play the murderer. 80 Days was like a really cool game. Had it like on the iPad back in the day. I believe it's on Steam as well. It's kind of like this choose your own adventure where you're trying to make it around the world. It's that classic story of the 80 days around the world in like a hot air balloon. And there's multiple different ways to play through it. And it's it's really awesome. It's well animated, and it's very cozy and fun and interesting. So it's cool to see that they've surprised released this new game, Overboard. A new narrative murder mystery game in which you play the murderer trying to get away with the crime. Takes place in 1935. You're an actress who pushes her husband overboard on a boat. And so essentially you gotta, try to get away with it, trick people on the boat. Seems like it'll be pretty cool. So, art style is just really, really cool.
So it's like you just kind of pick the different dialogue options and the story progresses based on what you choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it'd be kind of fun. It's definitely not a $60 game. It's a $13 game on Steam. It's only got 59 reviews, but it's very positive. Looks like a chill game.
Yeah, well, 15% off. On iOS, it's only $5.99, so I'll probably get it on my iPad instead of PC. I hate that they do that too. Like, why is it more expensive for the Steam version? It's because people won't pay more than $5-6 on their phone.
Yeah, well, that's true. And there's kind of an illusion of quality as well, like when you price something a little bit higher. So maybe they're playing that game where it's like, hey, it's a $13 game, so you can expect more content than if you were to buy a $5 game. Marketing, evil advertising.
I can feel my pockets getting deeper.
Scrooge McDuck over here. I always loved that scene when I was little, when Scrooge McDuck goes into his vault and he like dives into it. It's just like all this money and stuff. Oh, I love that scene.
The last story is Minecraft speedrunner, or he's a Minecraft player, and he doesn't really normally do speedruns, but this is a very popular Minecraft player on the old Twitch and YouTube's. Ghost is his name. Or no, Dream is his name. Why do I keep thinking Ghost? Dream, yeah.
Okay.
And so he said he did like a world record speed run a few months ago, and people looked at it and were looking at the odds because you have to get ender pearls and these other things that have fairly rare drop rates. So they looked at it and they did the math and figured out that how fast he got them was essentially improbable, statistically improbable. And they released this like whole document that looked exactly like a scientific peer-reviewed journal, like how it was written up, and they had like the mathematics involved and the odds of someone getting this lucky in a row, and then the odds of that like being streamed. And we're like, yeah, this guy did not this was not vanilla. He cheated to get this. And so Dream hired his own mathematician to get back at the adders.
Oh, God.
So he has his own mathematician. Oh, it's actually the odds are this low, and they're much lower than you said. But then they pointed out errors in that mathematician's work, and Dream's denying it the whole time. And then at some point a couple days ago, in a statement to Pastebin, he says, I ended up finding out that I had actually been using disallowed modification during 6 of my live streams on Twitch.
Wow.
Whoopsie doodle. You know, I mean, I am, instead of just going in and checking my mod folder, I'm not hire a mathematician to defend me and prove that I'm not cheating. Instead of just looking in my mods folder and saying like, oh, maybe I left some mods in here. If this is your defense is, whoops-a-doodle, I totally forgot. I just didn't notice.
He knew he had mods. I bet you he knew.
Exactly. Well, you don't hire a mathematician before you check and see if you're cheating, if you don't know, and then go on the offensive like that. If you don't know for a fact you're cheating and trying to pass off a fake record as a real record.
Yeah, the thing with like Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that, like if you're going to be streaming or creating content or anything like that, that's one way to get people to hate you really fast. You'll lie to them and then you try to defend yourself by making things up. Yeah, people don't respond well to that. So I don't know if there's a whole lot of Dream fans. It sounds like there might be, but I think you'd have to really scratch the bottom of the barrel to defend him on that. That's really gross. To do a speed run and then find out, hey, he was using mods, and then he tried to defend it by hiring a mathematician to kind of like fake what was going on. I'm sure he's like, hey, can you defend me, mathematician? I was using mods, but can you convince all these stupid people, all my stupid fans, that I wasn't using mods? Yeah, that's gross.
Well, he's a Minecraft player, and just like by definition, his fan base is incredibly young.
5-year-olds.
I don't even think this is, yeah, and like 5 to 12, 13-year-olds. So I don't even think this will have any impact on his views. And again, this guy's not just a little pot; he's got millions and millions of followers. Like,
oh wow,
these the people that release content for children are, they get huge numbers, because I see it with my nieces and nephews. All of the kids are on fucking YouTube and Twitch, and all of them. I want YouTube, and they'll just fucking sit there on the parent's phone or on their iPad and watch YouTube. I do the same thing as an adult. I'm not hating, but I have a fully formed frontal lobe, and so it's especially funny to trick children of this age. But here's his response in our challenge video, and so he got 5th. He placed 5th fastest any percent random seed glitchless run for Minecraft
with mods.
But he said, with the mods, but that's what he submitted, where they found out he was cheating. But in our challenge videos, before 1.16, we always increase the Enderman spawn rates and Pearl drop rates out of convenience. And we've mentioned that openly before. It makes the videos better because we don't spend hours looking for pearls or spend so much time farming blaze rods. When 1.16 came out, it was more complicated to increase piglin trades than it is to do Enderman pearl drops. A server-side plugin was made for our videos that slightly increases the rates. Around this time is when the first version of the recording mod was being made, although it was more of a chat mod at this point. This mod is the root of the situation. So, okay, it wasn't just a straight-up mod, but I was using a plugin and modding his stats. And so, yeah, he submitted the 5th fastest time to this website that does speedrun.com, does all the speedruns. And the moderators rejected it. And yeah, it was a 29-page report that they released saying why they're rejecting it. And the odds they calculated were 1 in 177 billion.
Wow.
And so they stated in that report, it's like, if nothing else, the drop rates from Dream streams are so exceptional that they ought to be analyzed for the sake of it, regardless of whether or not anyone individual believes they happened legitimately.
That's shady.
So it's so shady. And again, this guy, he's probably not gonna lose like one viewer. Like he's not gonna lose anything noticeable because his fan base is so young. But it also begs the question: if you're already that successful as a channel, I mean, why even do this? And like the first time when it comes out, when you get rejected from speedrun.com, instead of like throwing a fit and like trying to defend yourself, you should have been like, oh, looked into it. You should have looked into yourself, and then like, oh shit, we are. If it was a legitimate accident, look into yourself first, and then find out if you had the mod that you forgot about or something installed, and then you would have saved yourself all this embarrassment and gross shadiness. Anyways, human NPCs, you say?
Yeah, man. All right, so how would you define a human NPC?
Someone who hasn't reached their conclusions based off their own thought. They're like, the script has been written for them, essentially.
Yeah.
Everything they believe and do, it's predefined by like other people's opinions or teachings.
Okay. That's a pretty good definition. I think it's funny. Bill Burr, he doesn't say NPCs, he calls them in the way people. And it's kind of like 80% of the population like don't actually have souls. They're just like put on the planet to be obstacles, And like they don't really have like a very good self-awareness. And these are the people
to walk slowly in front of you in the grocery
store. Blocking aisles and stuff. And it's like you'll go to the grocery store and there'll be like almost nobody there. But like in the one aisle, in the one little spot where you need to get to, there'll be someone that's parked there with their cart, just slowly taking their time. It's like, come on,
Mouth breathing up the place.
Yeah, and the worst places to encounter human NPCs, I would say, is on the road, driving, and at the grocery store. And then a close third, I would say, is the gym. I cannot stand NPCs at the gym either. And today, I was in the sauna, and it was just me in there, and then this really frumpy, like he was probably like 4 feet tall and like 4 feet wide. He was like a square, and he was an older guy. And he comes in. He sits.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, and he sits right next to me. And within seconds, he's so sweaty that every time he moves, it just sounds like slime. Like he just got out of the swamp. And like every second, he was like cracking something, and it was just the grossest thing, man. And then like,
that's awesome, dude.
And it's like, why don't you sit over on the other side of the goddamn sauna, for fuck's sakes? But like, so I'm sitting in the sauna.
He's trying to suck and fuck, dude.
Yeah, I'm so
He's growing up to the hottie. He's growing up to the hottie in the sauna. He's using this creepy old man NPC script. He's like, He's doing the airing it out. You like what you see, young man?
No, it turns out he was like,
what you see?
He was like watching me and following me the whole time, just hoping I went into the sauna. But like, so I've got line of sight to the bathroom stalls from the sauna. And so I was in the sauna for about an hour. And during that time, I saw about 20 different people enter the stall and take a shit. And and then when people would come into the sauna, they'd open the door and all that shit air would waft into the sauna. It's like, do these people really need to exist? Like, why don't you fucking shit at home like a normal goddamn person? So many people had to take a shit. It's like, and they all use the same stall. And it's just like,
sometimes you gotta shit.
I can understand why someone created the coronavirus. It didn't kill enough people, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess a lot of people are on a script. I don't know. Some people though are. You like sometimes you have to be an NPC at like work. So it's like you might be like a chill, like a badass chick, but then like as you're a bartender, you're like dealing with just like gross weirdos all day and fucking getting hit on, and just drunk assholes and bitches who are like, I wanted this cranberry vodka with a little bit of cranberry and real crabs.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd probably be beneficial to turn on your NPC mode if you have one.
What do you want? Okay. Clunk. Money. Clunk.
Yeah.
That's how it was at Best Buy, dude. Like if I had to go like run the register at Best Buy, I would like just be like, I would sit in silence. I wouldn't smile. Like everyone smiles. I was like, you gotta tell me to fucking smile. Like they're always like, oh, we need to hire smilers. It's like, I can't control whether I'm smiling.
Hire smilers? Wow.
But you don't control whether you're smiling. You can't, like, I guess like some people, I guess they say women get taught this, but like I was not taught how to smile. I can't fake smile. If I smile, it's genuine. The best I can do is like this. So
pretty good.
I'm just sitting there deadpan, totally just yes. Over there, aisle 5. Okay.
I'm an NPC. But like
have a good day.
Some people you can just tell just like by looking into their eyes that they don't really have much of a soul to them. That they
it's like if you're looking at cow's eyes, there's like a dullness there.
Yeah, it's just like you just know that there's not much going on behind there.
Or I don't know. I think depression makes me look like that. And I do think, and depression literally does make you dumber. Not permanently, but you are dumber while you're depressed. And if you're not depressed,
well,
your IQ drops by quite a few points.
That's because nothing is interesting. Like, why would your brain want to work?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think if you look at like the rates of depression growing more and more, because I think society is collapsing or something. It's just not a great place right now. There's not a lot of point. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of point right now. Like, so I think that could be like a big reason too. It's easy. Like if you're depressed walking through an aisle, just in your own head, bumbling about life, to like not notice that you're like inconveniencing someone.
Interesting. And yeah, maybe a lot of people are on drugs that would have that happen, like some kind of opioids or maybe some antidepressants where, they do seem like NPCs, but they're just kind of like drugged out, and that makes sense because I know a lot of people are on antidepressants and opioids and or opioids. I mean,
well, you're down there in Florida.
Yeah.
Hell, I think that's part of a fucking daily like diet. That's part of a morning's breakfast over there.
I was prescribed both for my chronic pain and my sleep issues and my major depressive disorder. It's like they don't even want to help you like fix the problem. It's just like, oh, here's some opioids and some antidepressants. Go fuck yourself. And it's like that's not going to fix anything. Like I had to muster up enough energy to go to the gym, and that's really been helping me out. But like back to the NPCs, another one that I can't stand, and I don't know if this is just a Florida thing, but like, so coming up to a stoplight, there will be an NPC in a car and they'll stop like 50 feet behind the car in front of them. So there's this huge gap, and then they'll just sit there and then for about 10 seconds and then they'll slowly crawl their way up to, and then like everybody behind that person like has to slowly crawl. They're like fucking up the whole flow for everybody. But then those are the same people that once the light turns green, they're going 80 miles per hour into 50 mile per hour. It's like, so you're trying to be cautious by parking 50 feet back from the car in front of you, and then the light turns green. Now you're going 80 miles per hour, putting everybody's life in danger. It's like, that's one dumb fucking NPC. And there's a lot of them.
Or people that speed up towards a stop sign. There's people that speed up towards a stop sign.
Yep.
They would just like keep hitting the gas up until, and then they're like, stop real fast. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Coast, baby. You gotta let that thing slang. Dude, I'm coasting up to everything. If I see a red light and it's like 100 meters away, I just let off the gas.
Yeah, same here.
Like I'm rolling in here slow. Because the whole plan is, and I don't care if there's people behind me because I'm helping out their gas mileage too, is as we're coasting up, if the light turns green, I don't have to make a stop.
Exactly.
That's way more like you're saving your engine right there.
Yeah, but you don't want to be too far back when it turns green because then you look like an asshole. The trick is to like get really close by the time it turns green.
You got to get that timing.
You got to get that timing. I play that game too, and everybody behind me can thank me for that because, like you said, it saves everybody gas. And actually, a lot of times you'll be able to roll through that green light while everybody else is stopped in the other lane. So it's like you get to pass everybody.
Tons of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of time.
Yep.
So, I'm all about that. I'm all about that glide. Let those babies hum. Let those wheels sing.
Have you seen those YouTube videos about the NPCs, the Oblivion NPCs, where it'll be like a Karen, like making a big deal about something, and they'll play the Oblivion music in the background? And be like, "Hey, stop!"
That's awesome.
Dude, there's tons of them, man. Yeah. They're really funny.
I love the ones where it's like skateboarder. I'm a 34-year-old man. I haven't skateboarded in a decade. My best friend died longboarding back in the day, probably about 11 years ago.
That's where you got that tattoo, right?
And I was never that good at skateboarding. Yeah.
Tattoo. I remember.
And that's why I never, the turtle, yeah. And I never, and I was never that good to begin with. But I still always love skateboarding. Love watching it and stuff, and I still love that young punks are out here boarding up. So my favorite, I love the YouTube videos where it's like, Karen tries to stop me from boarding. Not bugging. It's like some kid like nollying by the bitch, being like, fuck you, heartbreaker, and skating off before the cops get there.
Yeah.
She's like, ah!
Yeah, that would be a perfect Oblivion NPC YouTube video. I think I just saw one of those today where it was a skateboarder and there's a Karen like chasing him around, but like she couldn't catch him.
Yeah, you gotta catch me, that bitch. He kick flips out. Yeah. I just wish like I could kick flip out of all my problems,
I was never a skateboard punk.
Yeah, fuck you, mortgage. Kick flip.
Yeah.
As if I had a mortgage.
I'm gonna have one real soon. I'm gonna have a baby really soon. You know how scary it is to be a hardcore gamer?
Dude, your baby's
that is about to have a baby. It's like,
just think about it as a experience. It's like it walks. It's like, oh, I gained 100 experience today.
He reached level 3 in agility.
Level 3, he knows how to throw a punch.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got like.
He learned to bite daddy on the face. Super effective.
10 damage. 10 HP points.
He learned diarrhea down his leg.
Beechcraft is 10. Yeah. Yeah, that probably does help. There were times where I kind of looked at my life as an RPG and it did help me get through a little bit. Like I remember back in high school, it's like, okay, I'm going to look at my life like an RPG today. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to eat, I'm going to try to do the best that I can.
Wake up.
Yeah. And it just kind of helped me get through. What's that?
I can check up.
Oh no, System of a Down, dude.
Well, leave the keys up on the table.
Oh, I hate System of a Down so much. Oh, but yeah, that was back in the high school days.
All about the downs, dude.
Yeah, Chop Suey. God, I guess
they used to call me the Downs.
I was really into Korn back then, so I guess maybe that's not a ton better. But yeah,
I wasn't all that. I can't listen to it now. Well, some of it I can. If Chop Suey came on the radio, I'd probably be like, hell yeah.
The thing with System of a Down is that near the end of the song, they would always have that really heavy part. And that was the only reason why I liked it. I hated the lead singer.
Cry.
Yeah.
When angels deserve to die. I better stop singing so well. They might think it's the actual song and copyright strike us.
Yeah, that was so good, dude.
Yeah, dude, I'm awesome. When angels deserve to die.
I don't know. There was like a point in my life where I realized the music that I was listening to was crybaby bitch music.
Super gay.
Yeah, like if you listen to Korn, it's like, oh, poor me, life is so hard. Yeah.
People said mean words to me 30 years ago when I was in high school.
Yeah, yeah, and like
Jonathan Davis sucks.
Then I started listening to like drum and bass and shit, like that evil, dark, methodical drum and bass.
Oh, is that what drum and bass is?
The shit that I listen to is.
Yeah, I just imagine like some guy like on a drum.
No.
Little bit of drum, little bit of bass, a bass, drum, bass.
Some Disneyland shit? No, I'm talking about like.
Actually, I think that's just a Birthday Boys sketch.
Burnt Value.
Just ripped off.
Technical itch.
Yeah.
And I got into Pantera. And that's the least crybaby music you could ever hear.
Or the most. Woo, I'm dying back. I got shot.
Dude, don't talk shit about Dimebag Darrell.
I'm dying.
Don't talk shit about Dimebag Darrell.
You weren't such a good guitar player that you survived being shot, were you?
Dude, he got shot like 10 times. Like twice in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if he was a better guitar player,
dude,
he would have survived.
He's still like one of the best guitar players to have ever lived.
Right, dude.
Yeah.
That's why Jimi Hendrix, everyone's like, oh, he's the best. It's like, well, then why'd he drown in his own vomit then? The power of the rock god should have saved him.
Yeah. Can we talk about Ark Genesis Part 2?
You can. I know nothing about it.
I don't really know a whole lot about it either. Like when the first Genesis came out, I did like a really quick video when it first came out, and I kind of flew around the map, and I was like, oh, look at this, there's that, you know, this is the biome where you're gonna find these dinosaurs, and hey, this would be a cool place to build. So I did that with Genesis. I never actually played Genesis though, because I didn't really like what they did with it. Like the map was broken up into different biomes that you couldn't just travel to. You had to like teleport from one biome to the other, and I was not a huge fan of how they did that. It was kind of like changing maps in a way, but instead of changing a map, you would just change the biome. I didn't like how they did that, and then they tried to add like quests, like missions. There was like basketball courts and stuff. It's like, I don't know how I feel about basketball courts in Ark. And so that kind of turned me off a little bit with Genesis. But I was looking at Genesis Part 2. I was looking at the map layout, and I thought it looked kind of cool how they've got the map laid out there. And then when you watch the trailer for Genesis Part 2, there's just so much to cover. And I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it because I don't know a whole lot about it. But one of the things that they showed in it was the overhead view, where it kind of looks like a real-time strategy game, like we were talking about before the podcast, where you can select, drag your cursor and select X, whatever dinosaurs you want, and then tell them to go over there or attack that, which I think is a much better solution to the whistling commands. So I'm glad that they thought about that. I think that's what they were doing with that. Kind of to cure and solve the whistling issues, because I think a lot of players had problems with the whistling commands. I didn't. I actually got pretty good with that, but streamlining it was probably the right move. It also looks like there's new technologies in Genesis Part 2, like they've got like mechs. And they've had mechs in previous ones. I'm not sure if these ones are different or not. And it also looks like there's
mechs are cool.
And it also looks like there's spacecrafts of some kind. I don't know what that's about, but that looks interesting. But
the reviews are very mixed.
Oh, really? It's probably because they've gotten far away from the source material, like the source material that made Ark really great. Like they just keep getting further and further away from that. So
yeah, like for instance, when the Part 2 came out 2 days ago, that day you had like 138 positive reviews, 135 negative. The next day, 57 negative, 46 positive. Today, 23 positive, 33 negative. So I mean, here's one that. While this DLC is a welcome addition to the Ark universe, and this is by MC_0, in that it adds new maps and dinos, the idea of having players grind out mini games just doesn't appeal to me. These mini games on the surface add a good amount of content. I just can't be bothered to have to travel from mission area to mission area playing mini games, which are necessary for endgame content.
Oh no.
There's another one complaining about insect swarms. That they have broken hitboxes. I mean, there's just a lot of negatives here.
Oh man, that sucks. Yeah, I don't think the first Genesis.
It's about half and half though.
I don't think the first Genesis did all that well either.
No. Probably even slightly worse.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Genesis Season Pass. Come on.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking at, and so you can see the dips of both the modern and the first release on it.
Oh, that sucks. But honestly, like looking at this, it's been a while since I played Ark. Like, I might have to get back into it. Like, and that's not good because when I get into Ark mode, at least 500 hours of my life is going to be destroyed. At least 500 hours. And one of the things that I've been really wanting to do is play it vanilla and beat it from the island all the way up to where we're at now, which is Genesis Part 2. And I would guess that would...
In PvP?
I don't really like PvP Ark.
Me neither.
Yeah.
It's griefing Ark, really.
Like, I like running my own servers. Because then, like, you can invite all your friends to play, and there's no tethering issues, and you can choose what mods you want, and you can adjust things so it doesn't take forever to do shit. My biggest problem with vanilla Ark is how long it takes to tame shit. There's no way. That's the thing that will kill me playing vanilla. 7 hours to tame a Theriznosaur. Just to have it get killed. Falling into the lava or something. Fuck that.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Yeah, I know you say fuck that to Ark in general. Because you know how much of a time commitment it is.
Yeah. I know, I could see maybe trying this one out on like a custom setting server.
Yeah.
What's it? $30 though.
I already bought the first Genesis. Now I have to buy a season pass? Just to get to the second one? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. Looks like it.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Trying to squeeze every last drip of cum out of me.
Yeah, there's a lot of complaints about that too. That's what I do love though. Every single like video game, if you look at the reviews, somewhere in the reviews is like, this company wants money for something they made.
Surprise!
How dare they?
Yeah.
You want money from me to play a game that took thousands upon thousands of man hours and millions of dollars to make? You want me to pay for that? Greedy!
Yeah. Greedy capitalists.
Games should be greedy pigs. Greedy capitalists. Video games should be provided by the government.
Yeah. Can you imagine how great a games the government would make?
Oh, just look at Russia. All those great games that came out in the Soviet Union. Oh, dude, every game for the government would just be like, and now, Billy, it's time to do your taxes, because not doing your taxes means you're stealing from your neighbors and killing their baby. You don't want to be a baby killer, do you, Johnny? My name's Timmy. Your name's Johnny now, or else I will throw you into prison.
I do think that the school system needs a huge update. The school systems are made for girls essentially, and like most men are dropping out of the university, and like guys just.
I blame video games.
You blame video games?
Like, oh yeah, you're like, oh, guys aren't doing well in school anymore. It's because video games are fucking awesome. Have you ever like had to do a book report, but you had a video game to play, and you're like, one, I get into a better college and do better in life. But the other, I get to play an awesome video game.
Dude, I actually, at the Hawaii Pacific University, when we were in the Navy, I was going there. And I was Mrs. Huntley. She was the best English teacher I've ever had. And she actually bragged to the class after me how good of a writer that I was. And I know that because Blaze was in that class. And what's funny is I failed her class. I got all A's, and then I was playing Diablo 3, and I totally forgot that the final was that day. And so I just blew off the final to play Diablo 3, and then I found out about it. I was like, I don't fucking care, you know? Like
for a game like Diablo 3 too. Ugh.
Yeah. I think it was Diablo 3, or could it have been Diablo 2? I don't know. I think it was Diablo 3 though.
So I want to move on to the new releases,
I guess.
and the upcomings.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, I guess. Alrighty, we got the Magnificent Truffle Pigs for June 3rd.
Okay. Damn, these graphics look fucking badass, dude.
Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, so it's a first-person romantic metal detecting game. It combines laid-back detecting and exploration with a strong narrative, all set in a beautiful English countryside. It's a game about trying to find something. That's the description. It's a game about trying to find something.
Yeah,
nice. You know,
yeah, it kind of looks
like Raft,
a cheaper, shittier. Yeah, well, it kind of looks like a shittier version of Firewatch.
Yeah, it looks interesting. It looks like
that's June 3rd. Comes out, or it came out June 3rd, so 2 days ago, or 4 days when you watch this video.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. So it's out, right? It's got.
Yeah. I do a couple that are out, and then I do the.
It's got mixed reviews, 35 reviews.
Next up, we got. Oh, what was the price of that bad boy?
That is going for $10.79.
$10.79. I knew it was weird.
$11.
Next up, we got Pro Cycling Manager 2021. There's a bunch of these. It's kind of your a la
sports game.
Well, sports management game. You're not even really playing it. You like manage the team. They have a Moto City one that's really good. MotoGP one. It's really good. And so you like manage your bicyclists on the team, the technology of the bikes, the stats, the sponsorships, and then you can like watch the races play out. I like these type of games. This one's got mixed reviews. Maybe they haven't improved much over last year. I've never played this one in particular, but these type of games I do really enjoy. So that one is $39.99, and again, it came out June 3rd, so it's already out right now. On June 4th, we have The Last Kid, Kids on Earth, and The Staff of Doom.
Join Jack and his friends in an epic post-apocalyptic quest to save our world from the queen of the slime monsters. Action RPG. So it looks like a Diablo game for 5-year-olds.
Yeah, looks really basic. One review, and it came out yesterday.
Probably one of the devs.
But that's Xbox, PS4. What's the price on that?
$39.99. Probably overpriced by quite a bit.
Yeah. Jeez, that's actually quite the price for that game.
Yeah.
What it looks like.
It looks like it should be a $20 game at most. But
at most, yeah, I was thinking like 15. Then we got the Persistence Enhanced PC, PS5, Xbox Series X. Looks like it actually came out on PC a little while ago. So maybe I guess this is the enhanced version.
So survive aboard a doomed deep space colony starship overrun with horrific and murderous aberrations. That one?
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Explore, evade, and fight your way through the depths to bring the ship back to Earth. Gather resources, upgrade abilities, and fabricate an arsenal of weapons in the sci-fi horror roguelike. Mostly positive reviews out of 77. Came out May 21st, 2020 by developer/publisher Firesprite Ltd.
June 4th, we have Sniper Ghost Warrior Contract 2. I've never really been into these Sniper Ghost Warriors. I know some people love them. They have really cool head explosion physics. This will be $39.99. And geez, they already have a ton of like DLC weapon packs, skin packs.
Yeah, it looks like it actually kind of looks like a fun game to kind of change up, whatever genre you might be playing. It's looks like you can actually stealth your way around, and you get like technologies like a drone, and you get a set up your gear loadout with grenades and assault rifles and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it definitely looks kind of like if you want to live the fantasy of being like a badass, get hired to like go in and do these contract killings and shit. In the Middle East. There's
people like that, dude. Contractors like ex-Delta Force dudes and stuff that I watched this I think it was on the History Channel or something, but like the Coca-Cola CEO got like captured in Africa or something like that, and Coca-Cola hired like one guy to get him back. So this guy like went and I don't know, like wreaked havoc in Africa to get this guy back. Just one dude, just one badass dude.
Yeah, dude. So June 5th, so out today or 2 days ago, if you're watching this, the Mighty Goose. It's 1999, and it looks like it's a side-scroller, fast-paced gun and shooter starring a bounty hunter goose using epic weapons and devastating war machines to battle against screen-filling bosses and hordes of enemies.
Looks like
it's got like a cute, charming art style. What were you saying?
Super Nintendo vibes, kind of like a Mega Man / Earthworm Jim / Contra style.
Contra, yeah, it's got a lot of Contra. It looks like kind of like Contra gameplay, but yeah, this classic 32-bit, 16-bit era graphics. Definitely looks charming. People love their gooses in their games nowadays. Fuck yeah, dude.
I think people like the neck, the goose neck. I think it's phallic. I think people like phallic things.
Yeah. Get it in my mouth.
That goose neck, biatch.
Yeah. So it's only been out, like, it's just came out today, and its reviews are already 91%, 47 reviews. So, looks good. Looks like it plays smooth.
Yeah. Well, how could it not? What, you need like 1 gigabyte of RAM to play that game? You don't even need a graphics card, you could probably just use your processor.
Yeah, probably. Internal graphics. Then, June 8th, coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbone. We got Chivalry 2, y'all. The video game strip club coming out on stage. You got the big ass. You got the big old titties. Oh, fucking Chivalry 2, y'all.
Wow, Chivalry 2, motherfucker.
Let's get a little AC/DC going for ya.
How come I can't find this on Steam? Chivalry 2.
It's not on Steam. It is a Epic exclusive, or maybe time exclusive. Everyone loves Chivalry. It's your favorite first person. Is it third person? It's first person. Medieval, beat 'em up, beat your friends up with a sword, kill your enemies with an axe, poke people in the bum with a spear. Chaos and free for all.
Interesting.
Yeah, did you ever play the first one?
No, I've never played a Chivalry game.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know how I keep going to that voice. Really? Alright. It's pretty fun. They're chaos. They're like chaos simulators.
I'm excited to see the trailer for that.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks good. So that's the big release of the week, it looks like. Then we got, it looks like Edge of Eternity coming out of early access. It is a wage epic turn-based battles as you follow Darion and Celine on their quest to find a cure to the all-consuming corrosion in this grand tale of hope and sacrifice.
Oh.
So it's like a tactics RPG. Decent graphics.
Yeah, the art style looks really cool on that. Yeah, definitely Japanese inspired with the character design and the level design to an extent as well. Very fantasy. Midgar Studio? How have I not ever heard of them?
Ooh, Midgar.
That's definitely a throwback to FF7. Maybe.
Yeah, they're clearly
Square. Yeah, it must be a branch off.
Fans, or maybe they're option.
Yeah.
Branch Off were made like what's it called? Is homage?
Yeah, perhaps.
So that's June 8th as well. Then we got June 10th. One hand clapping. It's coming to early access, this is a game where apparently you'll sing into your microphone and to solve musical puzzles and change the world around you as you explore the unique world of one hand clapping. And it's this kind of pretty but very like Easter style colors, very bright, vivid colors, but it's a 2D game. And singing your microphone when you got pipes like me singing into a microphone. I would just win the game. I mean, I love it. How do the puzzles will solve themselves.
You just made me cream a little bit in my pantaloons, man.
I made the video game cream itself. I'm interested to see how that works. It's kind of a unique looking game.
Yeah.
You have no interest in singing in your microphone?
No, I'm not the singing type. That's weird. The developer is called Bad Dream Games, which sounds evil. So
Evil.
I wonder if that evil feel will enter the game somehow. Because it looks like it could be kind of nightmarish. But who knows?
Yeah. When you hear like half the people's voices, you're like, this is a nightmare. That one's June 10th. Also June 10th, we got We Are Football. We Are Football basically looks like Football Manager, but they've added graphics to like your football compound and like the pitch you practice on. It looks like you can upgrade the buildings on there, the stadium, and then but otherwise the gameplay itself looks fairly identical to Football Manager, and Football Manager is just such a fucking good game. So they're gonna have a lot to live up to if they're gonna try to make any sort of actual competition for them. Which I hope for, because like I love Football Manager, but I do like the idea of actually having like buildings I can see and upgrade and improve.
This doesn't look good to me.
That's because you don't understand just how fun looking at numbers can be. Sometimes the game is in a spreadsheet. Sometimes the game is in spreadsheets, and it's kind of in between the graphics in your mind. Sometimes the fun of the game is a user interface error, between the computer and the chair. Sometimes the only problem with the game is between the computer and the chair. And you know who that is. I'm talking about YLU. Okay?
Oh. That's interesting. The publisher on that is THQ Nordic, and the developer is Winning Streak Games. So it seems like THQ Nordic is going to hold Winning Streak Games' hand.
We'll see. I mean, it looks like it could add some stuff that's not in Football Manager, and I'm all for it because I love those games. So the more they have that are good, the better. But again, like I said, there's just so much that you have to compete with Football Manager because it's had like 20 years of progression. It's an incredibly popular game.
Yeah, it looks like they got the stats in that part down, but then it seems like the graphics is kind of like an afterthought almost. Like the graphics don't look good to me. It kind of looks really generic.
Well, the graphics on Football Manager aren't great either. And that's because I think when you have the games that are that much of number crunchers, it's already eaten up so many resources. You don't have tons of room,
I suppose.
Because like Football Manager, you're like, oh, there's like these are no graphics. You should be able to, you could do, a lot with this. But you could then again with Football Manager, you can load up almost every football team in the world onto one fucking database and fry your computer. So, so I don't know how this will scale with that. But some of the interesting things that I don't see in Football Manager though are IPO, sales of shares to investors, fan shares, fan support and followers. So I love those type of things in games. I'm just a sucker for that type of stuff. So, in a career mode. So who knows? It could offer a unique take on that genre that's kind of much needed.
It's strange to me how you like sports games so much.
Yeah, but I'm not really that into sports.
Yeah. I think the last sports game I played was like on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're RPGs. I love RPGs. They're RPGs. And they go back to something, even though I don't watch a lot of sports, I watch football. And then like the championships of sports. But I just love the idea of that classic, the classic male fantasy of, that I've had since I was a little boy, where I was like a 6'7" black guy who could dunk and was just like, could shoot threes and, could like do everything. It's like, oh, he's like the greatest player. And everyone's like, oh, I love him. And the lady's like, oh, I suck this big old black dick. And I'm like, oh, it's cool, y'all. I'm just being myself. I'm like Michael Jordan, basically.
Wow.
So I just love that,
Oh man, I think the last time I enjoyed a basketball game was on the Super Nintendo. Then the only thing I really played after that was football, Madden games for like the Xbox 360. And then I played a few hockey games.
Hockey games suck, which is awful because I think it's just because it's not that popular, so they don't put that much money into those games. But that's what's frustrating, because a hockey game, they used to be awesome, and it shouldn't be that hard to like make a really great one. And I guess like the NHL one plays pretty well, like it plays like good hockey. But the career modes and all the modes in that game are just so hollowed out because they don't have the funds for it, that they just are inadequate games.
Well, the hockey players make like $60,000 a year.
Yeah. People at McDonald's make more than hockey players.
Yeah. Which is dumb. I was a hockey player back in the day, but
well, it makes sense that, like, if you're playing a sport that's much better than most jobs, so maybe you shouldn't make that much money. But it all comes down to, the basic economics. Does your sport pull in money? It's all like a share of revenue. Yeah. A revenue split. But anyways, that's We Are Football. That's June 10th. June 11th, we have the Black Skyland.
Black Skyland.
It looks different than what it sounds. It's a top-down open world game, Skypunk they dub it, where you go by foot or in this cool little like floating air balloon flying vessel, and you have like cannons on it. And yeah, it looks like it's top down, and you're open world, and you're like gathering stuff. It looks like cargo, and you're fighting guys and shooting them.
This looks insane.
Yeah, it looks kind of fucking cool, and you can upgrade your equipment. I assume you can upgrade your skyship as well.
Yeah, this actually looks like a pretty cool game.
It's coming into early access. Yeah, and it's coming to early access June 11th. And yeah, the graphics are very beautifully done. Good sprite work. Interesting. I love that kind of skypunk, steampunk aesthetic. So yeah, it looks really cool.
I like the Super Nintendo vibes that I'm getting from some of these games that are coming out recently.
Yeah, it never really left, and indies really keep it alive.
Yeah.
I love, because it's well within its more realistic scope for many like smaller studios and developers.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can still make games that are just good.
Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that actually.
Finally, we got June 12th, Guilty Gear Strive. This will be $59.99, and it's a Guilty Gear game. Anime bullshit fighting game that people have loved for a long time. And actually, I will say this is one of the fighting games I've played a while ago, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, where I actually did really kind of enjoy it. Obviously, I was never good enough to actually get good or play online with other people, but I did like the smoothness of it, and the characters are pretty interesting. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, it's I've never played a Guilty Gear game. I was never huge into anime, so It just probably never struck me before.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, hopefully it's good. I mean, fighting fans definitely are like aching for like a really good new game to come out. And they got their little fighting tournament, so we'll see. Maybe this becomes part of the rotation at the fighting tournaments.
The only time I ever almost got into anime was in middle school, and this was back in, I don't know what, like the late 90s, early 2000s. When I was in middle school, I would come home and Dragon Ball Z would be on, this one episode, like Goku and Vegeta had to fight their way to the top of a tower. And I could be not remembering this correctly, but I think Goku got knocked out on like the second or third floor. So Vegeta had to like finish the tower by himself. I was like, that's my boy. Vegeta
rules.
Yeah. So like I watched Dragon Ball Z for a while because I liked Vegeta. And that's like, other than that, Attack on Titan was pretty cool. The first time I watched it. Yeah.
Well, your wife is an anime nerd, right? She's a weeaboo.
A little bit. I want to go as far as to call her a weeaboo. Her sister is more of a weeaboo than she is. But yeah, she enjoys anime. I think it's because like a lot of anime is story driven, and you get into like the feelings and emotions and stuff.
Yeah, and I think too, just the fact that like in Japan, it's almost just as popular with girls as men. They just have their different styles. Whereas like for a long time, like comics only catered to like guys because it was just superhero fighting type stuff that girls were interested in. And so when you have that kind of established medium of just so many fucking mangas and stories and animes about girl bullshit, like there's a cute boy like me. Oh, no, there's 5 cute boys in my school. Like that's the whole anime. Yeah. Is girl in school with 5 cute boys.
High school stuff.
Yeah, and so there's tons and tons of that, or just weird shit. So
have you ever played a Persona game?
Yeah, I played a Persona 4 Gold on the PS Vita in Japan.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I enjoyed Persona 5. I think it was. I
loved it.
Yeah, I loved it. I enjoyed it to an extent. But yeah, that's kind of like what you're talking about with the relationship, like the girl, like, oh, look at this hot guy in my high school class. Oh,
yeah. When they have like whole animes about like sports and stuff, which is cool. So yeah, it's just really they took a unique take on it. So I always like thought it was when I found that out, because like when I loved Dragon Ball Z as a kid. And I remember getting in high school and meeting like a chick, and she's like, I love anime. And then I was like, oh, wait, all the girls love anime.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, back in my high school, I was kind of in a redneck town. So like the anime people were different. Like they didn't have very good hygiene. And most of them were.
They wore the shirts with giant dragons on them.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could smell them coming from a mile away.
Yeah, dude.
And they
had like neck beards at 13.
Yeah. And they had their own little anime club, like in the high school. Yeah. But I always like I was kind of
into it in high school. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was kind of into it in high school still. Not much. I did like Naruto at first before it like came here. I'd like watch it with the subtitles, but then I stopped. I grew out of it. I can't handle it at all anymore.
Pokemon would probably be the original thing that really kind of got me into the Japanese culture type of, because like just the art style and kind of how the characters talk to each other and stuff. It's very Asian oriented.
It's anime.
It's anime. Yeah.
It's anime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like straight up.
Yeah.
And what was the other, like Transformers too in a way?
Oh, with the robots.
Yeah. Robots in disguise.
Yeah.
Look out, one hand clapping, dude. I'm gonna crush you with my vocals.
Oh no.
So that's been Nuclear Grenade Podcast. Another one in the bag.
Our longest episode yet.
Yes. I thought it was gonna be the shortest. Anyways, thank y'all. Thanks to 5 people that listen. Thumbs it up. Make a comment telling me how great I am. and share it with your friends, and subscribe to the Havoc Gaming channel. We'll see you all next week.
Godspeed.